Okay, we have a question from one of our people on Instagram. And the question is, and by the way, you guys should go follow on Instagram. Just look up my name, okay? So the question is, how do you have any tips, or yeah, it was like, how do I do? Do you have any tips on changing the self identity, shifting identities? Okay. And the answer is yes, my friend. I got tips for you. I'm kind of a little bit of an expert on that because I myself have seen myself change so many identities over the years that I am 100% convinced that I am an actor, actually. And you are an actor too, an actress. Because in truth is we are all actors, we are all actresses, we are consciousness shape shifting, because consciousness is a shapeshifter. Consciousness is always looking to experience itself in as many different manifestations and shapes and forms as possible, which turns out to be infinity, because consciousness is infinite, and consciousness wants to experience itself in an infinite number of manifestations. And even within this manifestation, so this manifestation here is this human being, your manifestation is your own mind body programmed complex. Even within that manifestation, consciousness wants to experience itself in an infinite number of ways. Therefore, because energy loves to move, it loves to move, it doesn't like stagnation. Even in a particular individual manifestation which seems uniform. I mean, doesn't it seem uniform? I look a certain way, my voice is in a certain way, perhaps my manners are in a certain way. It seems kind of uniform, right? But it isn't. It isn't, because I'm not gonna look the same 20 years from now. I'm not gonna look the same 40 years from now. I didn't look the same 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I didn't look the same. You know, when I was a kid, I didn't look the same. Even my manners, the way I speak, they weren't the same 5 years ago. They weren't the same. They're different. They're going to be different 5 years from now. Even my voice changed. I look back, on some of my fitness videos, and I see that even my voice have changed. It's not a big change, but it changed. So although this manifestation may seem uniform, but it isn't. It really isn't. And it's always changing, because that's the way of things. Consciousness is a shapeshifter, always looking for change, always looking for new experiences. So the reason why you're asking the question to begin with, which is, how can I change my self-identity, how can I shape shift, I think you use that word. It's because that's just consciousness saying, I'd like to have a new experience, I'd like to be in a new way, like to have a new experience within this manifestation. Ultimately, death is necessary for consciousness to have a whole new different experience altogether. Okay? And so consciousness delights in change. It delights, it loves to change, it loves to experience itself in new ways. So, how do you go on about it? I could share with you how I go on about it, and specifically in the period in which I was doing this consciously, and I was experiencing rapid changes in the way I behave, in my self-identity, in the ego personality. And I still do experience the change, but now it happens more spontaneously. I don't have to keep track of it. So, more than likely, you would like to change your self-identity because there's something you're not totally content with at the moment. Perhaps to just give an example here, personal example, I used to sort of view myself as a coward. That was sort of the identity, the self identity that I had in my mind. I thought that Saeed, you are a coward, you're not brave. That's what I thought. Now, where did I pick up this belief system? I don't know. I don't know, but I picked it up nevertheless. I picked it up. Could be from my parents, it could be from my friends, it could be from some teacher that, you know, told me that. I don't know. I really don't know. I try and look back. I don't know where I picked it up. Nevertheless, the belief system got picked up. So I needed to change this idea in my head that I am a coward into the opposite of it, which is I am brave. So, you use your classical visualization techniques and affirmations techniques, and you do so for about 21 days, maybe more. I'd say about a month, consistently, persistently, like an athlete practicing her sport every day. And you will begin to experience the changes in the physical realm. So you go from mind, because mind creates matter, because all is mind, because mind precedes matter, and then matter follows. Okay, your actions begin to follow. So you take that example and you use the mantra, like a simple mantra, simple chant, simple affirmation, I am brave. Or you could say, because I am is you, your I am, and then any label after I am is the label you want to have for the present moment. You understand? Because I am is I am. I am. That's the only truth. That's consciousness. I am. Consciousness is really, it's a shapeshifter. It's no one, so it's everyone, because it's no one. It's no one. It's not contained. It's shapeless. But by you saying I am brave, you're giving consciousness a name. You're giving consciousness an identity. So now consciousness can experience being brave. See, the story in your head has been saying I am a coward, right? So that idea, that's what consciousness secretly wanted to experience, what it feels like to be a coward. So then that's the story that's playing in your head. I am, which is consciousness, a coward. So that's the label given to consciousness. And now consciousness wants a new experience because it's a shapeshifter. So now consciousness wants to experience what it's like to be brave. So you could say I am brave, or you could use your own name. So use your given name. Saeed is brave. Bob is brave. Lucy is brave. And both work. Now, for these affirmations to work best, you want to get yourself in a very relaxed state. So there are a variety of ways. You could use binaural beats, set up the scene, do it at night. There's something magical about doing these things at night. Your brain, because what happens in the change of energy throughout the day is, your energy naturally goes to alpha, which is a more relaxed brainwave, usually about after 6 p.m., after sunset. You begin to relax, your body begins to relax, your brainwave changes naturally without even you trying to alpha, especially if you keep the lights dim and you sort of, like I live in a place where when it's nighttime, it's nighttime. There are no lights. You're right in the middle of nature. God bless. So I just see the energy change so rapidly in my body, in my mind. Like I just sit down, listen to music because I'm more relaxed. During the day, I'm just making videos. I'm out and about. The energy is more fire. But if you start living nature, you realize these changes. Like, oh man, like as soon as the sunset, it's 7 p.m. and the crickets are. I see this. I go into alpha. Body's relaxed, and then that's when I'm actually primed for music, for meditation, for relaxation. So if you do this at night, relax yourself, either use binaural beats or breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth prolonged. Do that for about 15 minutes or so. Use binaural beats, use music, or simply just be in comfortable place, relaxed place. Do it a few hours before you go to bed, so you're relaxed. And then, after about 15 minutes or so, begin to tell yourself these things. They'll just dig much deeper into your subconscious. I am brave, or Saeed is brave, Bob is brave, Lucy's brave. And say that. Keep saying it. Just keep saying it. 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 And embody it. 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 I am brave. I am brave. I am brave. Use the body. I am brave. 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 Okay, that's another technique you could use. You could go about it the other way, not the relaxation way, but you could go about it by the embodying way. You stand in front of a mirror. I am brave. I am brave, and you feel it really, because the brave energy is a powerful energy. I mean, I'm just using what spontaneously comes to me when I say this. I start to beat on my chest. I'm just and my belly, because every mantra will come with its own natural, spontaneous embodiment. The mantra I am brave, it just naturally you'll start to beat on your chest and then belly, because it contains a vibration within it. Okay, of course I'm using this as an example. You could apply this to anything you want to change. Because if you say something like I am loving, in all likelihood, I mean, see, I say this, I am loving. I close my eyes, I feel it in my heart, I feel a gentleness, a tenderness. I even feel like tears are about to come through my eyes. So if you embody something, you will, the vibration is contained within it. And so embodying it is very powerful also, because you're planting these seeds and these emotions, you're programming them on a deep level also, because your body is your subconscious. So that those are two different ways. Use them depending on the energy. You might have a lot of energy, so use the embodiment. Look in the mirror and use it and embody it. If you feel like you're more in a yin state, so yang would be the fire state, yin state, you meditate, you relax, you hypnotize yourself in a way, and then you say the mantras, or you visualize yourself doing brave things. Well, like for example, you go walking up to a girl and say hello, I find you beautiful, right? That's a brave thing to do. So you visualize yourself doing that. You visualize yourself doing brave things, whatever brave things mean to you. You visualize like a scenario where you see somebody being beaten up by like 4 people, and then you, the brave person, steps in and stands up for that person being bullied. You start to visualize these different scenarios. And then you do that for about a month, and then you will change. Your actions will change. You won't even know. They'll happen spontaneously. Like back in those days where I was doing all that kind of stuff. This was years ago. Years ago. I was going through this phase really where it was all about changing the self-identity. I was so shy around women. So I would constantly visualize myself doing all these things. Like I'd go and look in the mirror and say, you are attractive. You are attractive. That's another one, a way you could go on about it. You could say, I am attractive. Look in the mirror and say, you are attractive, or use your given name. They all work. And then I used to say these things and feel attractive. And then I'd visualize myself going up to girls and saying some things. Okay? And after a while of doing that, I would find myself spontaneously, like I'd be at the bus stop, and then I'd look at a woman and I'd find her cute, and then spontaneously I'd go up to her and say something that I had rehearsed in my visualization, but I wouldn't say it exactly like that. It would just come out of the spur of the moment. Like I'd say something like, hi, I think you're very cute, or whatever, or I like your dress, something, right? But it would come out as spontaneously. It's like I'd go home after, I'd be like, I can't believe I did that. Because I'd sort of do it in my head, I'd do the visualizations and everything, and then I'd let it go. And then whenever a situation in the here and the now presented itself, I would say something completely spontaneous, actually, that I didn't necessarily say or rehearse in my visualization. But because my self-image has changed of myself into this person that can go up to a person who he finds attractive and say and express himself in that way, then I would express whatever the moment presented itself to me. So I would sort of roll with the moment. If there's something that maybe the girl was wearing that I liked, I would say that. Or perhaps I liked her eyes, or perhaps totally different, like maybe something about the buses, a joke about the buses, like because where I lived, the buses had this like notorious reputation for being late. So it would be like a joke about like don't you love how these buses, how Hamilton buses are always early, something like that, right? And so, but it would all come out of the spur of the moment, because I would have changed my self-image from this person that can't express himself and express his feelings of being attracted to somebody of the opposite sex, to a person who could do that, the image changes through the visualization of it, through seeing myself as the type of person that can do that, and through the affirmations. So again, you've got these two ways to go on about it. The yang energy, you embody it, and then the yin, which is you relax yourself, you hypnotize yourself, you do some meditation, and then you visualize. You spend some time visualizing yourself, and that visualization is very powerful. It is very powerful to change the self-image. Okay? Now you've got to realize something also. Whatever self-image, self-identity you're trying to shift into at the moment, you're going to shift out of at some point. Okay? See, I don't do that no more. I don't go up to random chicks that I find attractive and tell them that I find them attractive, because I've outgrown that identity also. Brahman consciousness now wants to have different experiences. It has different ways of expressing itself now. So recognize that you're actually, at the end of the day, no one. You're shapeless and formless. And go ahead and take on the shape and the form in which you feel most inclined to take on at the moment. If the shape and the form you want to take on is that person that expresses their feelings of being attracted to somebody else, go ahead. Take on that shape. Take on that form. Take on that role. But just make sure you recognize that you're actually an infinite being, and that you're always going to be taking on different characters, different roles, different shapes, and different forms. Okay? And so it becomes then a lifelong process of change. And so once you learn how to do that consciously, then you will take on. So what happens, for example, when you become this person that can do that, is you'll just kind of like having a toy. You know, you might get a really nice toy and play with it for a year, for 2 years, and then you'll outgrow it. You'll go play with the next toy. Okay? So right now, for example, the identity that consciousness is playing here is the identity of the servant of God. Now I think of myself as a servant of God. I think of myself as an instrument to the way, to the Tao. That's my thing now. That's the role consciousness wants to play. It wants to express itself in this manifestation. So that's the story I tell myself. I tell myself, well, you're a servant of God now. You wake up, and you're a servant of God. You make videos, you answer people's messages on Instagram, you answer their comments, you answer their emails. That's your thing now. That's your story. That's what consciousness wants to play here. That toy of going up to girls, and I mean, that was fun. I did that for a few years, man. It was fun. It was really fun. Wouldn't change a thing about it. But that's it. It's done now. That game is over. That toy is done. It's done playing with. So it is something you're gonna continuously work with, this story. And so it's very important not to take it too seriously, and not to lock yourself into it. Don't lock yourself into it. That's prison. Consciousness is infinite. It's infinity. It goes on for infinity. And it wants to experience an infinite number of experiences, infinite number of roles, infinite number of manifestations. Do not limit yourself. Do not limit yourself. Make a list of all the things you want to play right now, all the things you want to change, all the experiences you no longer want to experience. If you're overweight right now, and that's the story you've been telling yourself, is I'm going to be overweight forever, but you don't want to experience that, write that down. I don't want to be overweight anymore. I don't want to be shy anymore. I don't want to be this anymore. Recognize all the things you don't want, and then take the opposite of them, what you want, and now focus on the things you want to experience now. Oh, I want to experience being extroverted and expressive. I want to experience being thin. I want to experience this and that. So now you take all these new identities, your consciousness, your Brahman, your God, your spirit, wanting to experience these things. Okay? So you take these things, all these things, and you go to your visualizations and affirmations. You think, create a sacred space for your visualization. Okay? I used to have sacred space, a specific couch. I'd turn off all the lights. I'd put on some music or binaural beats. I'd meditate for 15-20 minutes before. get myself in a really relaxed state, and then I would go in and I would play. I'd play, like, I'd just go in and I'd visualize like 10, 20 different scenarios of like 20 different girls, and it's me saying 20 different things in 20 different places. And I became really good at it after a while. I became this, really, really skilled seducer. Like, and it became so spontaneous after a while. I'd be able to go approach a girl anywhere. It didn't matter where. It didn't matter where. Didn't matter where. But because I did this work in here, I did it persistently and consistently, and I had this ritual to go in and change my self identity. You see? So, but don't lock yourself in. So take on these identities, play with these roles, have fun. You'll outgrow everything eventually. You'll outgrow everything, and then it'll become the last thing you would want to do is go to the light, straight to the light, which is just the nothingness. Okay? But don't lock yourself in. You're always taking on different roles. So you have to listen to the harmony. You have to listen to what your gut is telling you, what your soul is telling you. It's time to play this role now. It's time to do this now. Listen to it and then go play it. Go take on that character. Take on that identity for a little while. Have fun with it. You'll eventually outgrow it too. And then when you feel that you need to outgrow it, let it go. Let it go. Let that identity go. Speaking of letting go, I just deleted my fitness channel. 100,000 subscribers gone. 632 videos gone. That's it. I am totally over that fitness phase. I am totally over that fitness identity. I'm totally over that fitness character. I played it. I loved every minute of it. Oh God, it led to this now. Everything leads to one another because it's all one thing. It's gone. The fitness channel is gone. I deleted it. That's it. Don't lock yourself into one identity. But when you're playing an identity, you're being called to play one identity, play it fully, like an actor, a Hollywood actor. Take a Hollywood actor. You go in, you play one role, you play it to the fullest, and then on to your next movie. And then on to the next movie, you play it to the fullest, and on to the next movie. And that's exactly what you are. You're a Hollywood actor. This is the cosmic drama. This is the cosmic stage. You're a magnificent, exquisite, highly skilled actor, actress. Play your role. Feel what you're called for. What is the universe calling you to audition for right now? What is the audition giving you? What the role? What's the movie you're supposed to play right now? Play that movie until the movie finishes shooting and it's released and it's published to the public, and all that comes with it. Then take on the next role. Okay? Thank you to all the Patreons for your continued support. You guys are awesome. I love you. I love you. I live to serve you. That's the story that I tell myself now. That's what the universe, that's the movie that I'm playing right now. It's the servant, right? The servant of God, the instrument of the Tao. So I love to serve you guys. I appreciate your support on Patreon through all the one-time donations. If you'd like to contribute, join in, hop in on the Patreon family, or just, one-time donations. I received one very, very generous donation today. God bless you. Thank you so much. Instagram, Saeed Mobayed. You can ask me questions. I'm here to answer. I'm here to serve. Okay? Until that story's over. It'll have to be over at some point. But it's a pretty groovy story. I like to play the role now of the servant of God, the instrument of the way. The servant of the Tao, Abdullah. And until next time, may the force be with you.